I'm Alan Franey, the Director of International Programming for the festival, and we're delighted to have with us now the director of the film, Marcela Lordy, the producer of the film, Deborah Osborn, and with us to help translate and join the conversation is our good friend Lily Vera, who is the Executive Director of the Vancouver Latin American Cultural Center in Vancouver. So welcome to you all. Now, maybe we can start by asking you where you are precisely.
In São Paulo, I am in São Paulo, Brazil.
I'm here in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Okay. And I am in the beautiful lands of the Coast Salish peoples here in Vancouver.
Okay. Now, this is an adaptation of a Clarice Lispector book, and you say a free adaptation. So I'm wondering, I haven't read the book myself. I'm wondering how free you think it is. I know it's a book that is in the modernist tradition, and it begins with a comma and ends with a colon, as your film does. But do you feel that it's much different than the source material?
I felt a lot of liberty in the adaptation, because Clarice works in a baroque way, baroque way. So the book was wrote on. I'm gonna try to speak in Portuguese, okay? I'm not comfortable with my English. O livro foi escrito em 69 e a gente trouxe ele para o contemporâneo, né? Para 2020. Então, só esse momento de transição já dá muita liberdade, né? De contexto. Mas, no entanto, o tema do livro, ele não deixa de ser muito contemporâneo, porque ele fala de uma sociedade muito patriarcal, que é a sociedade brasileira, que pouco se transformou desde então. Então, o conteúdo, né, que é a história de uma mulher que se sente autorrealizada e se torna independente numa narrativa, é algo inédito no cinema, inédito não, mas algo muito novo no cinema brasileiro, né? Que tem uma tradição de papéis onde a mulher é sempre objeto, poucas vezes é sujeito da narrativa. E isso foi o que me chamou a atenção. Because they used to be object in Brazilian cinema, like porno chanchada and things like that. So in this way, I think this is quite different in Brazilian narratives, because I bring this character in a very strong way, like a woman that have an auto-realization.
Self-realization.
Self-realization. But it's not in English.
You're doing great.
But I think the form is more, have a lot of freedom, more than everything, because the book is very intimist. It's a very like como se fala, fluxo de pensamento.
On a flow of thinking flow. There is actually an expression for that in English that
because it's a lot of literature, not a very cinematographic book. So I try to pick up the actions and invite a lot of others to have movement, to have history to develop.
I love the film's openness and unpredictability, and part of that, of course, in cinematic terms, is the way you treat space and the city, the open spaces. And I was fascinated by how you achieved that. Did you shoot early in the morning some of the scenes when there are not many people on the street?
Some of them. It was winter, isn't it, Deborah? And Mauro, our cinematographer, is a very special guy. And I think I have Horizon look at Rio de Janeiro, because I'm from São Paulo. So as Clarice, she felt all her life like a foreigner, sorry, in Brazil, because she's from Ukraine. And I think that my point of view, it's okay, because Rio de Janeiro is a very touristic city. So everybody always see the same shots, the same, like a cliche. And we try to como que fala, apesar,
to wait, although, yeah.
Although my
foreigner
view, I think that it goes in a good way. Vou falar um pouco em português. O meu olhar estrangeiro veio para somar, veio para um bom sentido. Se você quiser complementar, Deb, você também pode falar sobre isso tudo. Né?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because Clarice, she was, yes, a foreigner here too. She lived in Leme, in the same neighborhood where we shot Lóri's apartment, that big apartment where you can see the view, so it's a lot to do with that. And we shot, for example, the scene in the beach when she finally goes into the sea. We started shooting at 4 or 5 o'clock a.m. So yes. So yes, and I think it's very interesting to say that Clarice is one of our biggest authors. Now, I don't know how known she's known in Canada, but she's huge here. So it was a big challenge for a first-time director, feature film, to choose to adapt a book, and a difficult book that, as she said, all happens in her mind, you know. But I think we managed to bring it to yeah.
Lily, how well is she known in Canada, do you think, compared to Brazil?
I have a little anecdote for that, because at my cultural center, we hold a reading group, and it's a reading group of short stories from Latin America in partnership with the university here, the Department of Latin American Studies. And there was one Brazilian professor there, and she brought this book that is this, we read short stories of Clarice Lispector, a couple of short stories.
Her short stories.
And for many of the people in the group, it was their first introduction to Clarice Lispector. People from our audience are other Latin Americans, but also, Canadian-born people. And this specific book that is a compilation of Clarice Lispector's short stories was released in English just a few years ago, and it was like a bestseller all over the world, and it was one of the best translations of Clarice Lispector to English.
Laços de Família?
Esse livro que é as histórias dela,
uma compilação.
Understood. Yeah, and so I think that book was reviewed in important publications abroad, and that kind of gave a bump on Clarice Lispector's profile here in Canada and in all North America. So there is an awareness, but I think that even in Brazil, although Clarice Lispector is by far one of our biggest names, she's still kind of not all that accessible, and she's still has a little bit of like a cult following.
Like hermetic, yes.
Yes.
But the Benjamin Monser biography, sorry, have you heard about?
No, I have not. Of her,
Benjamin Monser,
Clarice Lispector's biography. Yeah.
Yes, he wrote this biography like 5 years ago, I think, and then he published it at the United States, and then it started like a boom by Clarice. And last year it was her centenário, como é em inglês, her
100 year, from her birthday. Yeah.
Anniversary. Thanks. Sure.
So the themes of the book and the themes of the film, they're fairly explicit in one way. That part of the dialogue expresses some of these themes, but there is a mysterious aspect to it because it's solitude and things that can't be expressed. and this idea, you could almost say existentialist themes. And I wonder about, when you were constructing the story and the scenario, and I don't know how close you were sticking with the development of the narrative in the book, but working with this actress, she's remarkable, and she's also credited as being involved in the production. So can you just talk about how you conceived the way she played this role?
Simone is a very special actress in Brazil, and I think she's a silent woman and a silent actress, and she has this mystery, because Clarice was a very mysterious, how can I say?
Mysterious, yeah.
Mysterious woman. And I felt since the beginning, when I read the book, that Simone is the right actress to do this. And then I start very close to the mood of the book. That's quite sad, but I take 10 years changing this adaptation, writing, rewriting, and then I start to put some things of myself and the character, and I think and about the contemporary
contemporary
women. and I thought in the end that this character Lóri, she find her voice like a woman, and I'm trying to find my voice as an artist. So this parallel was developing during these 10 years, and for me and Debbie, was a very big apprenticeship. How can I say apprenticeship? We developed a lot as her as Deborah, like producer and as a director, because we learn a lot by the process. So it was very important when I say, okay, this is the book. I understood the essential things, and I think I can tell this history in a different way, just bringing and make more sense nowadays.
It was the first treatment of the script. It was totally the book, and obviously
very
it was
literary.
Working. So we worked on different treatments, and we had some special collaborations for like Michel Machowski. He helped on doing a doctoring, and each doctor we would do, they would say, forget the book. Although we were buying the rights of the book and we were stuck to the book.
I love the book.
The best thing you have to do. You have to forget the book at some point. Keep the essence, but adapt it to nowadays. So it started working finally after that.
And in the end, it's not about, it's not exactly a love story. It is also, but it's a story about an independent woman. And I take time to understand what I'm trying to say.
So has the film been seen in Brazil yet? Tell us about its release, which festivals, and if it's had a commercial release in Brazil.
It's seen only online, unfortunately, because it was ready by the end of last year, and we were already in this pandemic situation. So it was screened also on the Mostra de São Paulo in São Paulo, a big festival. It's ready for 45 years, and it was interesting. Our first exhibition was on a car. How do you say those?
Drive-in.
Inside a car, drive-in. In a big screen, but a drive-in is the
Very
way they
funny.
found. It was a bit like, and at the end, instead of applause, everybody was horny in the car. So that was it for us. But hopefully we're going to have a special screening, because now things are getting a bit better here. And hopefully we'll show the film here in Rio de Janeiro. There's an important festival by the end of the year. And then next year we're going to release it. Yes, Victoria. And next year we're going to release it. It also was screened at VIFF, where Simone got a prize as Best Actress.
In Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires, yes.
And como que é? Mention Rosa.
Special mention for the
Special
film.
mention for a feature film in VIFF. And Vitória is a small festival in Brazil, But we also have the prize of
Yes.
best actress, best photography, and best
Script.
writer. And thank
But
you.
what we feel, because it was screened in the Mostra in São Paulo, and it was among the 3 films watched that was more watched, that everybody was trying to watch, and was sold out, because even though it was online, you have to like book the ticket. So we feel here in Brazil, people really want to watch it because they know Clarice and all the stars.
It's like a cult film now. Everybody wants to see. We heard an awful thing. They put on, and how can I say?
This is a problem that all the films get into.
But what's the name of this? In streaming?
A piracy.
Okay.
Yes, it's on like they already got it and put it online, but we're trying to take it off. Those kind of things.
Unbelievable.
But we have a good distributor in Brazil, Vitrine, that does the films by Kleber Mendonça, Bacurau, Aquarius. So we're going to, next year, we already have a plan to screen it, like to release it on cinemas. But we are waiting for people to go back to the cinemas in Brazil. They're still not going, so yeah.
I'm going to see for the first time in a big screen with Simone. Thanks God. I think it's going to happen at Tilburg in a small festival in Holland next month. We are trying to go. So these are going to be my first time, because I didn't saw the film with the crew, with the cast. For a director, it's quite sad, because we love to share this moment,
Well, we're so glad we could at least do this together and show the film in Vancouver and speak with you now. And I want to thank you so much and wish you the best for the film in its release and for your future work. And thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Marcela. And thank you, Lily, for being here with us.
Thank you, Alan.
a lot. Very happy.
Have a good session. And yeah, we want to hear about it afterwards, if feedback. Okay. This is very important.
Sure.